Hey guys, HT19 back with another deck profile from a recent event that happened. And I actually have another special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, Hector? Nice to make a video with you. My name's Ubaid Saleem, and I just got third place in the Ultimate Time Wizard this past weekend. Some of you guys might have heard it. It was a remote YCS, and they also offered for the very first time an Ultimate Time Wizard.
Yeah, very, very cool. And right now I'm actually showing the final standings after round six. You are actually first place after Swiss as well.
Yeah, that was a that was a very nice. I mean, like first five, 6 rounds for me. I just had one loss in round five to a good friend of mine. Other than that, I would just it was it was very nice to see my name on first place after the tough 6 rounds.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a great feeling. And then at the end of it, still coming out with third place finish and getting yourself a nice big what was the prize for that again?
So the giant card was a rescue cat, and second and third place obviously get the oversized rescue
Yeah,
cats. And like for every Time Wizard event, top eight gets the hamster mat as well. So it was like the regular Ultimate Time Wizard with the regular prizings, just 6 rounds. Not too many people, but we still played 6 rounds, so 6.5 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't easy nonetheless.
yeah, good stuff. So we're gonna take a look at your deck really quick. Let me pull that up. All right, here we go. As you guys could all see it on screen now. So it looks like a pretty typical Blackwing list for the most part. Anything you'd like to point out about it specifically?
I mean, at this point, it's pretty much standard. As some people could probably notice or catch on in the very beginning, there's a little more trap heavy lineup. I mean, Starlight Road was my call. Maining the Dust and Starlight Road was my call for the event. Just the way the format's going at the moment. And to be honest, MVP throughout as in rounds, the first 6 rounds on Saturday was Starlight Road. I have to say. I mean. It won me alone like 3, 4 games, and people weren't expecting it. People just like in real life, people just smack heavy all the time. They don't respect the back row set, because they think at most, okay, he might have a solemn set or anything, but like the Starlight Road main, it did catch a lot of people off, and you can go reckless with Blackwings too, just like you just special summon Bora from the hand and just make reckless plays. Like you don't even have to worry about torrential mirror force. So that really helped a lot. Dust Tornado, that wasn't. I mean, I found out the power of Dust Tornado in this tournament, like how good it can be in some games, and yeah, it helped quite a lot. Other than that, it's pretty much a standard list. I did not go as in choose for draw traps. I found them a bit. I think it might be the ideal list for some players playing the draw traps, but for me, it's just like I don't know. I just like I don't. I see them always too late. I did test it. I did test with them. I was always a guy like trying to run 2 to 3 Legacy Yatagarasus, but like it just didn't really work out for me. I didn't see the benefit of them. Me personally, I know others like you, Hector yourself, one of the best Blackwing players, some could say, you've had amazing success in the recent tournaments in this past year, especially getting first place RBTLA and second place at Nats this year, with your 6 jaw traps, right? So it's different for everyone.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And even myself, I taken a cutback on the number of draw traps I play on my personal list. Even if you notice from the two events you mentioned, I went from six draw traps to four draw traps that very next event. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I'm also in agreement with you where even now to this day, I'm playing a lot less draw traps in Blackwing variants. Myself, I'm playing more real traps. I do like the Starlight Road for all the reasons you mentioned. I remember back in the day before uh, I started throwing in like the extra, like I said, yacht Legacy Yadas into the deck. Starlight Road did help me in an online event before, and for that exact same, like I said, reasoning that you explained, you just could kind of not worry about like heavy storm, torrential mirror force. Uh, And then it's even good like against like light swarms where like you don't have to worry about JD either. So yeah,
Exactly. That was like another big reason. 'Cause I saw light like the upcoming of Light Sworn in recent events in the last couple of months in Edison, and I'm like that just like cancel out their JD and Celestia. So I mean, obviously, if you said it at the right time, you don't want to get that eaten up by a Lila, but like and obviously in the Blackwing mirror match as well against Icarus, I just found that as a good call for the current meta.
yeah, that too. It's also very good against the mirror match as well. I do want to take a anything else about the main deck you'd like to discuss, or was that
A lot of people, yeah, a lot of people cut Solemn recently. I find it that you have to, I mean, that's just like game-winning card. You obviously have to know how to play it, hold it for the right time. That's about it. And then, like, as you can see, there's two values in there. I just find it also helpful. I'm always drawing blizzards a bit too early. So, yeah, that helps in a way. And I wanted to play two deck devis, but at the last second I opted out. Instead of
Mhm.
two deck devis, I cut it down to like a Royal Oppression. I was like, yeah, it's also good against Lightsworn and Rogue. You never know what you're gonna see. So I think the two deck devis are good in Value Turbo, but like maybe could be a bit too bricky in pure Blackwings.
Perfect? Yeah, I
Yeah,
100% agree with that. And I actually was going to mention the deck dev really quick, because that does seem to be the the trend going on right now is main deck devs. Uh,
exactly. That is deck devi format.
Exactly. Before we move on to like the extra and side, I did want to quickly ask you, like I said, this is kind of like a IRL event, but it's also kind of not. Uh, how did you feel about like the tournament structure and like the way you guys had to play this tournament?
So dueling. Like remote dueling and dueling a webcam for me is also a bit new, but luckily there were a couple of like the side deck they offer remote side events sometimes. So I've been doing a couple of those in the last recent weeks. Haven't been doing good on them because it's just like weird. Like so I could get for some of the players it was like very weird always calling your plays and trying to communicate at the whole like at all times. It just felt a little weird. Not being able to like look at your opponent's graveyard and just like you have to like worry about okay is he seeing all my like all my cards correctly. I don't want him to think or the judge that's looking at the same time while we're playing like to think that I'm not doing anything shady or whatnot. So it was a bit weird in that instance, but you could say I got a hang of it. It's probably like my fifth or sixth time playing a remote duel over webcam or an event over webcam. So I sort of got the hang of it at this point. But I could imagine for some players it was like troublesome. I think like some of the guys who've done a recent YouTube video on the tournament reports, yeah, they mentioned that as well that like they didn't feel like it was the most appropriate way to duel. And I agree with that. I agree with that. Like especially for the first time, it could be very like an awkward feeling. But like, yeah, I mean, it's not something totally like dueling book, but like at the same time, yeah, it wasn't like played at an optimal playing experience. We'll just call it.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool that you actually did get to what would I say, like maybe like practice a bit
Exactly.
using the
Yeah.
remote dual setup. One of my other friends, Joe Dietrich, he's also kind of familiar with the remote dual setup, and I think just getting comfortable with that kind of like helps you focus a bit more and not be distracted. Like I
Definitely.
said, Joe Dietrich, he won a remote YCS and also topped another remote YCS, so he was very familiar. And you more recently just getting a couple reps in with that setup definitely seemed to help you as well.
It definitely helps, yeah. Speaking of Joe, I saw your video with him, and then I did actually play him in top eight, and yeah, I won that match against him. So yeah, uh, it was nice seeing him. It was nice playing him as well. It was a decent game. So yeah, shout outs to Joe as well.
Yeah, shout outs to Joe, Midwest Gaming YGO. Uh,
Definitely, definitely.
all right, let's look at your side and extra really quick. Anything you'd like to point out really about it?
I mean, nothing too special, pretty much standard at this point. I mained the two Cyber Dragons because for the rise in Machina decks recently, as you can see, there's two Raikos and two Fossil Dinos there. That's just for consecrated light, obviously. Like I would prefer to play maybe um Kaiku or something like that, maybe over another Raiko, but like it's sort of mandatory at this point. Because like you don't want to see that many darks. Not the biggest fan of DD Crow, but like I know it's like a blowout in some matchups, so like I said, pretty much standard. Mask of Restrict is like the only other thing that looks a little weird in there. I mean, that was kind of last minute. I saw like some videos recently from like some guys like talking about I think it was, who was it again? A True Hero and some other guys, they were like talking about like the advantage of Mask of Restrict over pulling the rug and like how it's more favored in some instances. I've seen some like replays of like also better players playing with Mask Strict, and I see it's like so much of a blowout card against Frog sometimes. So I mean, that was like a last second addition right before I started the event. I was like, okay, let's just put the light imprisoning mirror and Mask Restricted instead of the two pulling the rug. So I cut that out. But other than that, as you can see, it's pretty much standard.
Yeah, and
That's
then you one quick thing, you opted to play double armor master. Do you find yourself going into the second armor master?
actually no. I was for the last few weeks. I didn't practice that much. We just yeah, a bit on dueling, but the last 2 weeks practicing for this event, and I actually had a Mistworm instead of the Armor Master. But I thought with the two values, you never know, you might go into another Armor Master. But I was yeah, so I was like, it's like last second, I just changed that back just to be on the safer side.
Okay, no, that definitely makes sense, and you definitely have good reasoning for it too. Like so, you just don't want to risk virus waiting in the graveyard for like another Sirocco or
Like
something,
I
right?
was also sorry, so sorry to cut you off there, but I was also siding and or maining. I returned from a different dimension, so that all obviously helped in some games. It was actually pretty broken. No one expects it in Blackwings. But yeah, that was another reason for the two armor masters. But like at the last second, I decided to like keep it as simple as possible and not like draw too many dead traps. So, but I actually like the card. And testing was real nice.
Okay, for sure. Well, yeah, like I said, deck looks pretty much standard for the most part. But then that just goes to show that good playing. And I know we've played in the past before, and I could tell you're a really good player. That just goes a long way. So, congrats again. Any last words and shout outs?
Last words. I mean, appreciate you having me on the channel, Hector. Like one of the best Edison players at the moment. I really appreciate you reaching out to me for the deck list. And shout outs to all my friends, all the New York boys, all the guys in Germany, everyone who helped me practice in the last few days. I mean, it wasn't much practice, but like I had some guys helping me. So other than that, yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Again, congrats on that third place finish.
Appreciate
People,
it.
please subscribe. We're trying to reach 100K by the end of the year. Watch out for a new video coming at the beginning of next week.